Welcome to day 41 of scaling my AI agency from $0 to $100,000. We're at 6,000 cash collected. In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what I did today to move the needle forward. I'm going to give you some key insight and advice that you can take with you in your entrepreneurial journey. Put this in 2x speed and let's jump right into the video. So today was a pretty big day. I'm filming this a little bit early here today because I have a busy night ahead of me. So we had a meeting with, I wouldn't say he's a mentor, he's an advisor at this point. We went to the Starbucks, sat down with him for like a good almost 3 hours discussing the business, the KPIs, the numbers behind everything, and kind of getting some strategic insight from him. He's been in business 40 plus years, worked with Hershey's, all these giant companies, advised for them, very marketing front facing, but also knows like the technical back end side of things. So we had a really good meeting today, gave us some really good advice that I'm going to tell you here a little bit later in this video. And then we also had a little kind of team meeting afterwards. I think we're going to be talking about it a little bit more tonight here when we get to go out and kind of do some social processes, top of funnel and process. So we're going to keep the VSL the way it is for now. I don't want to mess with anything yet because it's already ready. It's worked really well. We don't need to switch anything up too crazy yet. I think there is an opportunity down the line to switch, but I think once we get the ads rolling here today, once we get the capital deployed, we can then kind of start figuring out, okay, what do we want to critique? How do we want to optimize this? I think right now it's really good. Client check-in, we're going to send that message here a little bit later today. YouTube workflow, I'm going to have some time after I get into this video on how we're going to set up kind of like the marketing and like structure of the brand. And that's going to tie in with LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn's a really good area to kind of tap into with this. YouTube obviously is going to be really good. Instagram, and then we're obviously on Facebook as well. We were on TikTok, but I'm not a big fan of TikTok too much, to be honest with you. Not doing really anything with TikTok. I don't think a lot of our ICP is even on TikTok, to be honest. That's kind of where we're at with that. I'm going to be getting that in motion here shortly. Launching ads. So we're going to be able to get ads launched. Pretty simple. We're going to relaunch them. If anyone didn't know, we kind of ran out of capital, so we couldn't spend on ads. We went into like cold outreach a little bit. Not fun. Went right back into ads. Did whatever we could to actually be able to run ads again. Then we got some follow-ups. We're going to see if we can get our guy booked in for Saturday to actually lock in that 12K deal, which would be fucking sick. I don't want to pressure him too much, but I think trying to get him in for Saturday sometime this weekend or early next week for a meeting so we can lock in the structure of this deal would be super huge. That way we can actually move forward and get some fucking fat cash flow in our pocket and get dialed in with that early batch of leads that we got. And then Claude Context. We just got our usage limit back here on Friday for the week. So we're going to get into some context here probably later tonight, if not tomorrow. Not super big priority, but definitely sitting down and putting some time into that. So that was today. Here's some insights from today. First one is having a mentor / advisor, however you want to call it, at any capacity is an absolute game changer for your business and for your life. Having a mentor, someone that has experience in the game, that has done it before, that has advised for other people, that can give you strategic insight in multiple areas that you probably haven't even thought of or even think you're deficient in, is so beneficial at any level, right? This could be someone starting out. This could be someone that's already at 100K a month, 50K a month. You need to have a mentor no matter what stage you're at in your business, right? You need to have a mentor. And we kind of just had this realization like, yo, like we literally have a great advisor connection just sitting in our back pocket. Let's take the most advantage of it as we can. And he gave us such strategic advice today. It was really beneficial to kind of learn from him, pick up on some of his practices. And he's really liking the opportunity that he sees with us. He believes it's truly a blue ocean. He's excited for the whole opportunity and stuff. And he was talking about even getting more heavily involved here down the line. He's kind of sick of like the corporate world and he wants to be a part of something that's like smaller business, not a bunch of hands in the pot, something like that. So potentially getting into a deeper structure here down the line of how we can actually align with this from a high level. But it's literally a game changer at any capacity, bro. A game changer. So if you're just starting out your agency, I mean, there's a lot of good mentors out there. If you watch my videos a lot, I can be a good one. Just DM me on Instagram if you want to get some advice from me and figure out what that looks like. And yeah, man, you need a mentor if you want to actually see growth fast. That way you're not just sitting here skipping or you don't miss anything that comes back to bite you in the ass down the line. So huge game changer, just a big takeaway. A lot of people think course sellers are mentors. They're not. A mentor is someone that's working directly with you one-on-one, helping you based on the experience that they have, right? It's completely different from a course seller. So if you think a mentor is a scam, think of it from an advisor perspective, a consultant perspective, right? A mentor is essentially a consultant or an advisor that advises you and gives you insight tangibly on what you can implement in your business and what you should start thinking about depending on which level you're at. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're someone that's been in the game for a bit and you're at like a revenue ceiling that you can't really get past, getting a mentor that's gotten past that ceiling before, or that is at $1 million a month, right, is super huge. Paying him is going to save you so much time down the line. And then if you're someone that's just starting out, getting a mentor that's like farther along with you, has a proven acquisition strategy, and knows all the fundamentals and foundations you need to start a successful business is also a key. So if you want to see what mentorship could look like with me personally, just shoot me a DM on Instagram and we can talk about it. And then this one's quite obvious, but literally use your client results like your business depends on it. The second you get client results, think of it like proof of concept. When you get client results, you've officially achieved proof of concept in whatever niche or offer that you provide to the marketplace. Okay. And you need to double down, put that shit literally everywhere. You need to have results to succeed and actually scale. You don't have results if you don't have proof of concept, right? But once you get that result from somebody, you need to get a testimonial from them, preferably, right? Put that shit everywhere, dude. Everywhere. Use that in your sales calls. Use that on your middle of funnel. Use that on your top of funnel. Run it as an ad, right? Reference that in your social media, in your organic posts, and when you're on sales calls, when you're on client calls. Like, the more results that you can show, the more confident people are going to be in you, and the more people are going to want to buy you because they saw it working for someone else. So literally use your results like your business depends on it, because it really does. And then this one's controversial. A website is still important in 2026. That's what I took from the mentor, the advisor, I like to call it. A website is super important. Okay, now there's two reasons and there's two sides of the scope here. If you're dealing with an older demographic, having a website is extremely important. An older demographic, okay? People that aren't as socially tapped in on like all these social media channels. It's really important to have one of those. That way, one, you can get discovered organically on Google, especially if you're like a relatively low competition space. And two, you have an asset that you can send people to get more information and also understand your company, your mission, your values, the team, and just the overall brand that they're going to end up working with. Very important for an older demographic of people. If you're working with more local businesses and people that are older and not as like internet savvy, like online businesses, a website is super important. But if you're working with a demographic that's younger, that's a coach, a creator, an online business, having a website is not as important, because you can essentially look at your social media as a website. Okay, so it really just depends on the demographic you're targeting. You don't need a website off rip for these bigger local businesses, but it definitely is something you need to look at implementing down the line. That way you can really have that brand amplifier. It just amplifies your brand. It makes you more trustworthy. It makes them think, okay, these guys are big, right? You want to have your positioning be as efficient as possible. When you have a website, you seem professional, especially to older people that are like older demographics, and they can go on there and actively learn more about your brand, your company, your mission, your values, your case studies, also you, your team, and actually get more information more from a broad perspective of the company and like what the brand looks like in itself. This was very interesting to hear when the advisor brought it up and he was like, you guys have a website? It was like, yeah, we just got a lander right now, because we're just getting all of our traffic from Facebook. He just made a really good point. Like, the website is where you can go more kind of broad, less salesy, and it just kind of gives people insight into what you actually do, how you align yourself, what your brand really stands for. And it's just a really good trust builder. And it makes people think you're really bigger than you are, especially if you can put a nice one together with like Claude Code or Google AI Studio nowadays. Really simple, especially for a more older demographic, local businesses type. Very important for that. If you're running an offer for online businesses, you don't really need to worry about a website that much, because people are just kind of on social media anyways, and that can kind of be treated as a website for you. But if you're going for an older demographic, trades businesses, guys that are local, website is super important. Okay, so big thing to keep in mind if you are in a local market right now and your demographic is older, make sure you get a good website in place, not necessarily for conversion, but for brand presence and amplifying your brand and how professional it looks on the outside. So those are some insights from the day. I hope you guys took some value from that. Tomorrow's actions. So we're going to kind of finalize the marketing strategy. We'll see if we actually get through to finishing that tonight. I'm going to start it today. We have a little business, our business friend, former business partners, it's his birthday tonight. So we're going to be going out around 7:00 to hang out with him, socialize a little bit, kind of take the edge off a little bit. And probably end up talking business there too, because business never sleeps. You're always talking business no matter what environment you're in. So that's kind of why I'm filming this a little earlier today. I'd rather film this now than when I'm potentially a little teed up later. So going to do that. Either going to do client check-in today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. We'll see. He's normally more available on the weekends. Potentially do some top of funnel optimizations. Like I said, I don't want to jump the gun on this since we're just starting the ad spend back up, because that could make an impact on our conversion rate. And I feel like we've kind of already tested the VSL and it's in a great spot. So I don't think I'm going to touch it at all. Just kind of keep it how it is right now. And then we're going to go into our sales process ops. We sent our advisor our sales process, kind of like our questions. We want to go from more of a consultative selling perspective. And like I said, I want to implement a pitch deck and make it a little more dialed in when it comes to actually presenting them the options with the offer. So that is essentially tomorrow's actions from a high level. It's going to be Saturday. We're going to be locking in, getting everything together from a high level. And then today we're obviously going to try to finish up a couple of those things that I told you here at the beginning of the video. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was day 41. Make sure you subscribe to follow the 0 to 100K journey. Like this video if you got value from it, and comment down below if you have any questions, insights, or thoughts for me. I'd love to hear them. And if you do have any questions, I'll answer them in my next video. And then also DM me on Instagram if you're looking to connect. If you're looking for a mentor and you want to figure out what that looks like with me personally, DM me on Instagram as well. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys for day 42. Have a good one.